Today, after my recent video where I talk about why I believe Kamala Harris is a terrible candidate for the Democrats to run in 2028 to beat likely Republican nomination J.D. Vance, I now want to talk about why I believe Gavin Newsom is also probably less bad of an option than Kamala Harris to win in 2028, but I still believe he is equally as bad as an option against J.D. Vance. So let me go ahead and fill out J.D. Vance. Now, after this video, I will make other videos where I talk about candidates who I do believe are strong Democratic contenders to be likely nominee J.D. Vance. And if it's not J.D. Vance, it's probably either going to be Marco Rubio or Ron DeSantis. Now, let me go ahead and say, J.D. Vance is not a popular vice president by any means. You know, he's slightly more popular than Trump, which is overall a good thing. Let's see. This is going to take a minute to load. So while that loads, I want to go ahead and fill up the states, because really what we're talking about by if they're good or bad candidate, we're talking about if they're if they can win swing state voters. That's what we're talking about, okay? We're not looking if Gavin Newsom can win Louisiana, because he's not. We're looking at if Gavin Newsom can win Nevada, can win Arizona, can win Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, those states. Go ahead and fill out all the states besides, of course, the swing states. That is why you're all here. Am I missing a state? Oh, New York. That's what I meant to put. Not Pennsylvania. New Hampshire. This district of Nebraska. And then we'll go the safe states for J.D. Vance. Or what I believe would probably be safe in this scenario. Texas might be likely in this scenario. It's up for debate. Please tell me in the comments so this video gets boosted to the algorithm. Okay, yeah. So before we do the swing states, of course, Virginia's going to Democrats. Before we do the swing states, it's 226 to 219. Even if you believe Ohio, even if you believe Ohio is likely, and same with Florida, it really doesn't matter because they're all going to the Republicans and Democrats anyway. You know what? I don't really want to get into if it's likely or not, but yeah. So let's go ahead and get started. Why I believe Gavin Newsom's a terrible candidate. Number one, he might be a better candidate if this was Trump's first term and Trump planned to run for a second term in 2024, but this is not. Trump's term limited. We see, based on this article, Gavin Newsom only does good whenever he's fighting with Trump. But here's the problem. He's not going in an election against Trump, okay? And whenever he isn't recently having a fight with Trump, we see his approval rating was only 36% on his handling his job as governor. So if he's not directly, if he isn't recently in the news fighting against Trump, his approval rating is only 36% underwater on a super Democratic state. You know, this is worse than Kamala Harris vice president polling, and we also see Gavin Newsom, I would say, probably doesn't have a lot of appeal with minority voters. Now, I'm not saying J.D. Vance really does, but he would have to get a VP like Wes Moore, which I don't know if Wes Moore will want to be on a ticket with Gavin Newsom. That's more background stuff that has to be negotiated, like how Josh Shapiro didn't decline the opportunity to be on a ticket with Kamala Harris. So, you know what, let's go to JJ Maps. Wonder, do they have Gavin Newsom polls? Yeah, they don't. Let's do JD Vance. Come on, I know you have a poll on JD Vance approval rating. Let me just search it up. JD Vance approval rating. And so, here's the thing. I think Gavin Newsom is especially a terrible candidate if someone like Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley probably won't, or Tim Scott, someone who isn't directly involved with the Trump administration would absolutely blow out Gavin Newsom because they're not directly involved in the Trump administration. Is Gavin Newsom going to blame Ron DeSantis on something that he wasn't part of? And He's unpopular in a state that's mostly Democratic, votes 60% Democratic. How do you expect him to win a state that's about 50-50 and has majority independents, like in Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania is currently shifting to the right in terms of voter registration. They haven't completely overtaken the Democrats in terms of voter registration, but independents and Republicans in voter registration are gaining massive amounts in Pennsylvania. I doubt, unless if Josh Shapiro's on the ticket with Gavin Newsom, I doubt that Gavin Newsom's going to have to appeal to win a place like Pennsylvania. So I'm putting Pennsylvania in J.D. Vance's column. And we look at a place like North Carolina. Democratic governors have won there. Democratic senators have won there. But you know where Democrats haven't won? The general election. I don't think Gavin Newsom's going to do better than extremely good candidate for the Democrats, Joe Biden, in 2020 did. I mean, and here's the thing. If Gavin Newsom ran in 2020 against Trump, I think Gavin Newsom probably would have won, but he's not going to run against Trump in 2028. And also, Gavin Newsom does not have the same approval rating as Joe Biden. Joe Biden was part of the Obama administration, which honestly, I think a lot of people wanted to go back to the Obama years under, or like, I guess whenever Trump came into office, there was this sort of like drain the swamp mentality. And I think a lot of people wanted to just go back to political normalization, because we can all agree the Obama years were probably pretty normal politically for a lot of people, and Joe Biden was vice president of, I would say, a fairly popular president, much more popular, I would say, than Donald Trump. Now, by no means was Obama the most popular president, but a more sane, more I would say, I think a lot of people saw the Obama administration as more responsible than the Trump administration. And even in 2016, Trump didn't even win the popular vote. So I feel like also we're now in this like drain the swamp, get rid of the political elites era and politics. Gavin Newsom represents the political elites. I'm not saying that J.D. Vance doesn't, but we can all say that Gavin Newsom just looks too politician-y to a lot of people. And nobody just wants to vote for a political elite funded by billions and billions of dollars of big money and donors. Nobody wants to vote for that. I think J.D. Vance, even though that, as I said, North Carolina, it's not going to Gavin Newsom, even though J.D. Vance doesn't, you can argue he is a political elite, which I do believe he is. He doesn't come off that way. Gavin Newsom does a terrible job of just seeming more likable. Gavin Newsom's not likable. Okay, let's be honest. To most people, I would say. He has inspiring speeches every now and then. But also, I don't think Gavin Newsom would do good on the debate stage either. Whenever Fox News had that red state versus blue state debate, I feel like we can all agree on shorts and TikToks that we saw way more clips of Ron DeSantis owning Gavin Newsom. So I don't think Gavin Newsom's really going to do that good on the debate stage against someone like J.D. Vance, who we can all agree, based off polling data, did a lot better than Tim Walz in the vice president debate. Also, Georgia only went to Joe Biden by 0.24%. And then Trump won it by 2% this past election. Only Joe Biden could have that margin. And we have to remember, Joe Biden had Kamala Harris as his VP. Helped a lot with bringing out the progressive vote and the minority vote. I don't think Gavin Newsom's going to put someone like as progressive as Kamala Harris on his ticket. And I think Gavin Newsom's going to lose that progressive vote like Clinton did in 2016. The reason Clinton lost was because of voter turnout, because the progressive Bernie side of the party didn't show up to vote for her. And you need the progressive side. You need the young minority. You need the young vote, you need the progressive vote, and you need the minority vote for a Democrat to win Georgia right now. So I'm putting Georgia in the hands of JD Vance because I don't think voter turnout's going to turn out for Gavin Newsom. And right there, that gives JD Vance the presidency. Also, same story in Arizona. The progressive vote does not show up in Arizona. The only time it showed up was against Donald Trump in 2020, and Biden only won it by 0.31%. By like 20,000 votes. I don't think Gavin Newsom can have the progressive vote. He needs someone like Kamala Harris on his ticket to have the voter turnout show up. Gavin Newsom needs the progressive vote to show up. And Gavin Newsom I feel like Gavin Newsom's going to fail in a lot of ways like Kamala has. I don't really know what Gavin Newsom's policies are. He represents the DNC elites, the corruption of the Democratic Party. Not the Republican Party also has corruption, but I would say it's less open than the Democratic Party. A lot of people see that the Democratic Party cheated Bernie out of winning the 2020 and 2016 nomination. So I don't think the progressive vote's going to show up for Gavin Newsom in 2028. And that's why I'm giving Arizona to JD Vance. Already there. Let's say even Gavin Newsom by miracle wins Arizona. I doubt JD Vance, Gavin Newsom would have to go on a sweep when Wisconsin, Michigan, and Nevada. And as we've seen, Nevada is shifting to the right. Trump shifted it, what was this? 5 points. Yeah, nearly 5.5 points in terms of voter. So even then, Gavin Newsom would have to stop JD Vance from winning 4 states that are clearly shifting to the right. I do think Georgia is shifting to the left, but more of a progressive left, not the left that Gavin Newsom is. So I think really best case scenario, it's 251 to 287 JD Vance wins. And Gavin Newsom might win Wisconsin, which was the closest state to voting for Kamala Harris. And then, even then, I think there's a chance JD Vance even wins Michigan. So I truly do believe that Gavin Newsom is a terrible candidate for the Democrats to run. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and peace out.